Hey everybody, I'm your host Kushan, and welcome to the stream. Today I am going to be playing some more Command Modern Air and Naval Operations. And I today's stream is actually originally what I had planned last week, in that I'm going to be conducting a US/NATO strike on Iran. Sorry about that, with the primary goal of knocking out Iran's nuclear infrastructure. So as you can see, I've got their Arak water reactor, your uranium conversion facility. There is the Busha here nuclear facility down here, and there is a couple of others right over here. That's the Iran air defense. So maybe it's just those three. So those are my primary targets, are to knock those out, and then of course I've got all of the air bases. Those are not going to be primary. Oh, and I'm sorry, I got Natanz over here. The air bases are not going to be my primary objective, which is why they are all single unit air bases. This is just mainly a airstrike versus Iran or versus their nuclear facilities, not a total we're going to invade them. So nuclear negotiations have broken down, and now the U.S. is going to strike. To do that, as far as air facilities go, I've got Al Udeid Air Base here in Qatar, which is mainly a support base in that I've got KC-135s, I've got a squadron of B-1Bs, some fighters, sentries, rivet joints, a squadron of French Rafales, as well as a Joint Stars. And then over here in Al Dhafra Air Base, I have most of my fighter, which in this case is going to be F-22 Raptors. Over here, I've also got Global Hawks, some U-2s, some KC-10s, and more E-3s. And then Sheikh Isa Air Base is mainly my British contingent, which is two squadrons of Typhoons and two squadrons of Tornadoes. And then I thought I had one other air base that I'd set up. Oh, over here. Ahmed Al Jabir Air Base, which is F-15E Strike Eagles and some more F-16s. And then my main bomber component is actually all the way over here in Diego Garcia, which are more B-1Bs and a squadron of B-1 or B-2 stealth bombers. So the first order of business is going to be set up basically the bombers, set up a refueling mission, get them basically into the area of operations up here, and then from there I will start conducting my strikes. I've also got Carrier Strike Group 12, which is the Theodore Roosevelt battle group here in the Persian Gulf. I just loaded this from my 2013 import, so I'm not actually sure if this is actually the current group other than the Roosevelt. I know that after this deployment, it's also conducting a change of home port to the Pacific. So I'm not sure if her escorts or if the rest of its strike group is going with it, but for now this will work. So, first order business. Back over to Diego Garcia. Let's get all these armed up. Now this is mainly going to be a sandbox scenario, so there is quite a bit that I still haven't set up. I'm going to use my main goal here is I'm going to use my B1s with cruise missiles to target basically any land structures, or to target most of the above surface structures, I guess. And then I'm going to use my B2s and hopefully nail anything, basically any tunnel entrances or anything like that. And my original plan here is actually going to be to just kind of take one facility at a time. Maybe not, we'll see. But it would probably be best to kind of focus everything. While I'm waiting for these bombers, I'm going to launch all my fighters and start kind of clearing out the airspace, suppression of enemy air defenses, and all of that, because I do know that all of these facilities do have pretty heavy AAA around them, along with SAM systems. So, let me just check chat real quick. Hey, Coiler, welcome to the stream. And so, we'll arm the B1s with JASMs, and the B2s. Wonder what their biggest non-nuke is. Oh, those are anti-tank bomblets. Don't want to be dropping those on bunker entrances. Naval mines, MOP, GPU 57. That looks like a pretty damn big bomb. 2 nautical mile range, 5,300 pound warhead, and I believe this is also a penetrator. Land structure soft, hard, glide bomb. Actually navigated. So maybe this isn't a penetrator. I always thought there was a description that I could have swore there was a description here that would say, but I think for underground entrances, I think those are what I'm going to want to be used. I think JDAMs are going to be and GBU 28s are going to be too small of a warhead. What are these? These have a 4,700 pound warhead. But they can target surface ships. I'll go with probably the bigger one. They have a slightly longer glide range. Those are, yeah, I think I want to go with the GBU 57As. Massive ordnance penetrator, specifically designed to hit facilities like Iran's. Yeah, thanks, Clayler. I figured they had something to do with that. I remember reading that somewhere in the last couple of weeks. So I'm going to launch these, I guess in groups of 4. Launch the B1s first. Oh, not ready arm. Launches group. All right, so we got all those. We'll wait for all those to take off, then we'll launch the B1s. Or the B2s, I'm sorry. And while waiting for that, over here, so I'm going to use the KC-10s. It's got centerline drogue. That's interesting. I thought the KC-10 had a boom. Air refueling centerline drogue. That's interesting. Oh, it does have a boom. It's just not showing up. So we will launch that. We will use these to refuel the bombers as they move up. One thing I should double check are what are the strike ranges of these? 2,400 nautical mile strike range. And on the B2s, they have a strike range of 1,800 nautical miles. So they are going to need to probably refuel by about the time they hit the coast. So I'm going to put the KC-10s on a support mission down here. I do have KC-135s over here at OLD. I know that these should have ready arm these. Oh, I wonder why these show a wing drogues and centerline boom, and the KC-10s, even though they have a boom, is only showing a drogue. Wonder if that's a bug. Centerline drogue. There's no. I may have to report that as a bug and see what the devs say. So we will send, I guess, the KC-135s on this mission over here, and just to confirm, I want to double check their own radius. 21,600 nautical miles. So that should be well within their range out here. It's only 1,000. KC-135R should work, Coiler. I'm pretty sure that they should be able to refuel them. All right, so mission. Create new mission. Not sure why everything's popping up on my second monitor. Refuel south. And I have 40 KC-135, so I'm going to assign probably half my KC-135s to this mission. And I don't want 1/3 roll off. And I'm actually going to send all 20 of them. Maybe I want to send 10. 10 should be enough to refuel that strike. If not, I can always send more out there. Oliver, I didn't add any KC-46s in. I don't think they're actually in service, or at least from what I was doing in the order of battle research, none of them are actually currently deployed to the Middle East. I tried to be as accurate as I could with this. Whether that's, I took a lot of guesses on the fighter components, since most of the U.S. fighters in the theater are actually stationed in Afghanistan. So I took a random guess on the fighters, but most of the support elements should be fairly accurate. So that support mission down there will refuel the bombers, and I should probably get a support mission for AEW. Oh, not add unit. Add reference point there and there. And for this, I will just assign all of my rivet joints. Where are my E2s at? Or E3s? My Hawkeyes. There's my sentries. Oh. Before I do that, I should probably at least fix. I'll set up the loadouts for the fighters when the time comes. I'm not going to worry about launching fighters quite yet. Meant to have most of this sort of kind of setup work done, but I have actually been sick for most of the week, and so unfortunately was not able to get as much done on this as I had originally intended to earlier in the week. So I want at least 2 of my sentries on stations at all times. Continuous loop. And transit altitude, creep loiter. There we go. And then I'm going to set another mission. This is going to be for... So I have rivet joints. Which are the RC-135s for Talent. And then I also thought I had another group. Oh, I do have J-Stars. I'm not sure how useful the E8s are going to be in this. But they are area surveillance, so I'm going to probably launch both those and the rivet joints and see what happens. If you post the scenario... Oliver, I will actually release this one. In fact, I'll probably, yeah, I'll release this one. I actually was hoping to kind of finalize it up, but if you guys actually want this in its current state, then I can definitely launch this as a sort of sandbox scenario and kind of type up just a rough briefing and release this. So back to missions. Um, support mission. Try to keep one of those on station. These J-Stars probably, I believe the J-Stars are mainly like a ground surveillance, but I'm still gonna watch them anyway. If I could stop losing things in my list over here. Eh, yeah, I guess I actually have the wrong RC-135. This is a ballistic missile. Oh well. I'm still gonna leave it. I'm not gonna swap them out right now. You know, we'll just say these guys are on station to watch for the Iran, surface-to-surface missiles, which I did not include those. I had originally intended to also kind of be striking the Iran missile silos, but the active unit count was just getting pretty insane, and I was starting to get out of memory crashes with them, so I actually took them out. All right, so that should set up all of those. We will up the time compression here, and while that's all going on, I'm running time waiting for the bombers to take off. I will start arming my fighters. First off, I want to get my F-22s airborne. Now, had this strike actually gone in, I mean, it's really bad to actually wish for us to actually, this to actually happen, but, I kind of would have liked to have seen the F-22 actually go into combat. Now, for the most part, I'm going to arm most of mine. Oh, probably about 32 of mine with internal loadouts, internal long range. So that'll carry 6 AMRAAMs. And then I'm going to arm the rest. These guys are going to go with the external loadout, which is 10 AMRAAMs. So that should be plenty. I'll send in the stealth ones first, and then, I've always got, more missiles if I need them. Yeah, 1100 and yeah. Now you guys see what was going on. The original unit count for last week's scenario was closer to like 33, 3,500, something like that. And then and most of that was just with bombers are taking off, and that was just with Iran, with their air bases and no actual air bases, nuclear facilities, AAA, and all that. But that didn't include any actual fighters at any of the bases or anything for the U.S. side. That was just Iran. So that scenario was definitely going to be a no-go. I probably could have played it fine myself, but once you start putting, there's no way I could have actually played that on the stream. Even my massive overseas rig tends to take a pretty big performance hit when it comes to streaming. So my first bombers are airborne. We'll get them basically started in the right direction. And the rest, there's this next group, is ready to go. My original intention for this scenario was actually to have basically the player, all the bases here in the US and actually be conducting a global strike. But I figured me playing basically, tanker relay all across the Atlantic, all through Europe into the theater wasn't going to be that exciting to watch. All right, and there's the next group coming up. There we go. You'll notice I'm actually sending them into the vicinity of the refuel point. They'll refuel there, and then I will send them on farther. Oliver, my specs. Yeah, I actually have to pull this up. I rebuilt my rig earlier in the year. This is getting way off topic here, but my specs, I'm running a Intel Core i7, 4 gigahertz, 32 gigs of RAM, Windows 8. I've got, or 8.1. I've got a GTX 780 for my first graphics card. I've got a GTX 570 as my PhysX card. And looks like the next group is coming up now. That group looks like it's up. Now, the reason I'm zooming in here is I want to make sure that I get all of my all the aircraft are airborne. I don't want to start sending the group ahead, but while there's still planes launching. So that looks like it's all of the B1s look like they are now airborne. So now I will launch the B2s. I probably should have launched. Oh no, not ready arm. I mean, the B2 was originally designed to hunt erector launchers, which are basically mobile missiles. So I could have also used these in the kind of the hunting down SAM role, but I think those mops are going to be much more useful in this case. All right. So there goes those. My tankers look like they are inbound. And while we're waiting for all those to... So I have Reapers. I do have a lot of drones in this area, so I'm going to launch... Oh, need to give them a loadout. In fact, I should probably... Why am I using Predators when I have Global Hawks available? JDAMs... Wow. The loadout on a Reaper is actually not too bad. 4 Hellfires and 2 Paveways. Or JDAMs. Wonder what the range difference is. It cost them 100 nautical miles strike range to add those extra 2 bombs. But, maybe I will add those extra JDAMs onto here. Nah, I think I like the Paveways better. Yeah. And Global Hawks. Ready arm. So that's the real difference is the Global Hawks are just and Predators are just recon, whereas the Reapers are actually armed drones. One thing's for sure, I am going to have a lot of ELINT over the area as soon as those E2s actually get onto station. Now I do have also my carrier battle group obviously over here. I could launch Hawkeyes from here as well, but why give away the carrier group's location? I do have one of these bases set up to have basically SU-20, I think, no, I'm sorry, SU-24s. Oh, the B2s are all airborne. I'm sorry. I do have one of these bases set up with SU-24s set up for anti-shipping. Whether I'm actually going to switch over and launch that group, I do not know. All right, so there goes here's the B1s. And we'll send the B2s. I probably should have actually launched the B2s first, considering their slower, I believe, flight time. But too late now. Not going to worry about it. Worst comes to worst here, I can always just go into edit mode and just physically move them closer. All right, so there's that. All right, there we go. That should take care of the B1s or B1s and B2s. And then I also have some B2s closer in theater over here at LUD. And ready arm. Now these ones, I'm not sure what I'm gonna arm with yet. I'm debating between JDAMs and more JASMs. I think I have enough cruise missiles. I think I'm gonna need actual more bombs, but I will decide that when these things get closer. Bomblets, we don't really want bomblets. Anti-tank bomblets. So I'll probably end up going with a JDAM loadout for these. Maybe a mixed loadout. 28 Mark 82 500-pound bombs. I believe those are just dumb bombs. And GPU 31s and 38s. Nice. Not too bad of a loadout. These hard targets. Maybe I'll go with that loadout when the time comes to launch those. And I should probably get my Eagles ready and armed here. Now I probably have way too many actual aircraft than this would actually take, but I figured that, and a strike on Iran is actually no small thing. I mean, you're pretty much taking on an entire country's air force because I highly doubt Iran would leave anything on the ground, as well as, at the same time, I also think that if had this occur, if this is actually going to happen, that Iran, if negotiations had broken off, Iran would probably launch their surface-to-surface missiles rather than just leaving them in their silos, ready to be blown up. But all right, what do I want to do with my Eagles? I'm going to arm these. Well, looks like there is only air-to-air loadouts for the Eagle. So we'll go AMRAAM heavy. I really do like the AMRAAM. And I will arm my F-16s. I'm going to arm these for kind of a lighter kind of strike mode. What's their range? 200 nautical mile cap. What's their longest range strike? I'm almost tempted just to leave all of even my F-16s just in strike mode. 450 nautical miles. So what I may actually do is use my strike fighters to go after the closer of the nuclear facilities, and then I will leave my bombers for the kind of the deeper strikes. So what I was going to do, Warhawks, ready arm, meld. I believe those are just decoys or OECM. Now I do also have. I should probably actually go with a harm strike here, because I think I am going to need. Yeah, we'll have this whole group here basically as a SEAD strike. One of those cases I really wish I did have the F-35, which never thought I would actually hear that coming out of my mouth, given. Did you tether the interceptors? Do you mean the Iranian interceptors, Coiler? Yeah, we'll go with that. We'll just send this whole group as harm strikes. Set this group here as AMRAAM heavy. Oh, I'm sorry, those are AMRAAM mediums. I want AMRAAM heavies. More AMRAAMs, less Sidewinders. Yes, I did. I have their initial interceptors are on a 2-point patrol mission with a prosecution zone of the entire country, and then I do have a scramble mission set up that'll launch basically everything else when the U.S. enters Iranian airspace. Now, how are my bombers coming along? My bombers are making good progress. I like to see that they're actually staggering out a little bit. And actually, now that they're en route, I'm going to take off this and just launch all of my Strata tankers. I want them all down here refueling that strike. It's probably overkill, but given my how kind of finicky tankers can be sometimes, I'd rather have more tankers than fewer tankers. And then once they're refueled, they should have plenty of range to strike basically anything. Yeah, they should be able to strike anything in Iran once they're refueled down here. And then I can always land them at one of the friendly bases if need be. Okay, so there goes the rest of the tankers. And it looks like all of my support assets are starting to get onto station. Oh, forgot to change the MCON settings. Oops. Radar is active. Yes. Active. Yes. There we go. And I do have a pretty good idea. Now I know for a fact that these are actually F-14s that I set up basically on a Barcat mission. Hi, Dama. How are things going? And then this, not sure what that is. Contact report. No info on that. Yep, Iranian F-14s.